Welcome to Commander Tune-Ups. Today we're upgrading our patron, Matthew's Grismold, the Dreadsower deck.
Prepare to learn the moldy ways of the Dreadsower.
Boo. I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We're back to our old Commander Tune-Ups, but don't worry, we got future deck techs coming out this week for our Core 8 Commanders, and if you like this and those, how are you not subscribed?
Yeah, I mean, besides, you'll want to be subscribed to this channel because our subscribers are actually 10% less moldy.
Disclaimer guy here, the Nitpicking Nerds aren't responsible for getting moldy. Do they have enough time?
All right, that one got me.
Beezy did not read the subscribe beforehand. I see that.
I read it beforehand. It still got me when you just said it, like, oh, what a benefit. I have been looking to become less moldy.
Disclaimer guy, save us, even though there's no free spread for you to work with.
What's Commander Tune-Ups?
Commander Tune-Ups is a series where we take your user-submitted decks under your restrictions. We make that deck more awesome, more better, more cool.
More. That's what you get with the Nitpicking Nerds. Did I tell you to subscribe yet? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Good.
You did. Okay.
Good.
Beezy, what's the budget for this deck?
The budget of this deck is not applicable. No budget. We've been given sky's the limit restrictions. Nothing. There's only a couple, but they're not budget related.
The only restriction here is actually based on budget. He just doesn't want anything crazy like duels or like that kind of crazy stuff. He doesn't want
superfluous stuff.
He doesn't want don't throw in the mana crypts, don't throw in the duels, don't throw in the hundreds of dollars of cards that don't need to be in there.
And then we can say we're super clever because we put mana crypt in the deck.
Wow, can you believe Grismold is better with mana crypt? Well, why don't we read Grismold, or as BC calls him, Griswold.
Clark Grismold, the Dreadsower. 1 black-green for a 3/3 troll shaman. He's got trample. At the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant creature token. Whenever a creature token dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Clark.
Main game plan. We give tokens out. We kill tokens. That's just it. That is the game plan.
Tokens for me and tokens for you. I don't know where I was going with this.
Yeah. Well, actually, the first category is tokens for me. So
that's us. The player is sitting down.
These are kind of like, sure, okay, we're just going to go over these kind of quickly because we're going to have tokens for me, tokens for you, and tokens for us. There's 3.
That rhymes.
Oh, sorry. Tokens for 2. Tokens for 2.
No, token for us, comma, 2. So it rhymes.
Oh, okay. All right. So the first one is Dreadsower, Master Breeder. What does he do?
It's a 5-mana 2/2. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you make X 0/1s, where X is the converted mana cost of the spell you just cast. And then if you have 7 or more thralls, you got to sacrifice this guy because they eat them.
Okay, because they eat them.
It's a classic schoolyard bully taken down by the kids.
In this case, they're what are they? Thralls.
They're genetic mutated creations.
Ugh.
Anyway,
next we have something.
You having a bunch of 0/1s obviously matters. Grismold is going to get huge, and you can sack them at will so that you never go above 7. So this guy just says like, oh, every turn make 5 of these. Yeah,
you just keep making them by casting your creatures. This deck was originally low on creatures. I definitely boosted the creature number in here. So
you're welcome, Matthew.
So Dreadsower is even better than he was before. He was in the deck to start. And new card that I added because I thought this was awesome. Slimefoot the Stowaway. He is 1 green-black for a 3/3. You can pay 2/3? For a 2/3 is what I meant to say. You can pay 4 mana to make a 1/1 sapling. And whenever a sapling dies under your control, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Or is it each player?
Busted.
It's so good.
It's broken.
But this combo, I like one of the other reasons I put this in is this deck has black market in it, which whenever a creature dies, it gets a counter, and on your upkeep, you get that much, or no, on your first main phase, you get that much black mana. So this deck can obviously kill and make tons of tokens, so you can get tons of mana from this. Slimefoot the Stowaway, great sync for it.
Oh, this is my favorite token maker probably ever. It's Tendershoot Dryad. It's 4 and a green for a 2/2. City's Blessing. Saplings you control get +2/+2 if you have 10 or more permanents. You're gonna. Because every upkeep, you make a 1/1 sapling. So you have 5 lands, because that's what's required to cast this thing. That's 6 permanents. Next turn. Now you're at 9. Go back to your turn. 10.
All right. Tendershoot Dryad also. Pumping Saplings. We're getting...
This card's so good. This card's ridiculous. I love this card. It is super playable. It is not a joke at all, even if you're playing like a stronger deck that wants tokens.
I mean, Slimefoot makes saplings, Tendershoot makes saplings, and I believe Grismold makes saplings, right?
Makes plants.
Well, Grismold wants to make saplings.
He wishes. Grismold wishes.
Grismold does wish.
These next 3 cards are really good.
This one's super good. Ophiomancer. It is a 2/2 for 2 mana, and at the beginning of each upkeep, you get a 1/1 snake. So if you have something like a sack outlet that can...
Well, each upkeep, if you don't have a snake, you get a snake.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So if you have a sack outlet that can take advantage of that in any way, you get to sack the snake at the end of each player's turn to get whatever advantages you get.
Every turn cycle, Griswold's going to get +3/+3, 3 counters on him.
Like, that's already a way to pay it off.
That's already, like, those 2 cards and a sack outlet, your commander's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I took out, we're going to go over that later, actually. Yeah. Next, what's this one? Well, you know what this one does.
Probably our favorite Planeswalker in all of Commander. It's Liliana Dreadhorde General. 4 black for a 6 loyalty Liliana. +1 to 7, obviously. Make a 2/2. Static ability. Whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card. I totally forgot about that. It's the best part of the whole card. -4. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. It's like a mini board wipe. Not the best here, although... if there's tokens are going to die first, that's going to give us Griswold counters.
This is more of this Lily in this deck is more of a plus Lily.
And then, the ultimate. Oh, you win the game. Yeah, everyone loses all their permanents except for one of each type.
Yeah, so
except for you.
Yeah, what you're going to do is you're going to plus Lily on a Dreadhorde General. You're going to keep getting tokens, and you're going to have sack outlets to sacrifice your tokens.
Or protect her.
Yeah, or protect her. And then they block, and then you draw cards.
And Griswold gets bigger.
Yeah, Griswold.
It's so hard not to say Grismold. Griswold. It's really close.
Grismold is great.
I grew up on Christmas Vacation. There's no getting out of me.
Nah. What's the next one?
It's actually Avenger of Zendikar, one of my most hated cards. 7 mana for a 5/5. When it enters battlefield, you make a 0/1 plant for each land you control, and whenever you play a land, whenever a land enters, all your plants get a counter. Griswold does make plants.
Yes.
Those get bigger.
Yes, they do. The thing, Avengers of the Card really synergizes well with this deck in a lot of ways. You want to go wide with tokens. You want lots of tokens. That's awesome. Putting counters on your other plant tokens, getting them buffed up.
It lets you go wide or tall because the tokens, they could all die at any point with a free sack outlet. Then Griswold gets huge. Or, if Grismold, you just make a bunch of tokens and attack people.
Yeah. This card, I love this card too in this deck.
It's a little clunky, but I like it.
It is.
Why don't you read it?
It is MacLeod. 5 mana for a 4/4 with Devour 2. So that's a way to sack a lot of those tokens into it. And at the beginning of upkeep, you get Sapperlings equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it.
The counters can come from anything. Not that we have a ton of counter synergy, but that's another layer to the card.
Yeah. There is a little bit. There's just quick mentions, Winding Constrictor and Hardened Scales for your commander. So it's just a little bit.
It to Devour 3.
Yeah. Well, for one. The first one is Devour 3. The rest is Devour 2.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, yeah. That's all at once.
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's not as cool.
Yeah.
But it's going to say it's a 5 mana 8/8 that makes 4 tokens on every upkeep. And then Grismold gets bigger every time you sacrifice.
The thing about that is in this deck, that's conservative. In 8/8,
I was saying you just sacrifice 2 things.
That's what I'm saying. And that's so conservative because you could easily sacrifice 4, 5, 6 things in this deck when you just have tokens everywhere.
And when you devour Grismold, even if you don't have a sack outlet, the Devour can act as a 1-turn sack all my things so that Grismold gets huge.
Right.
And he's trample already. Thanks, Wizard, for giving him trample.
I'm glad this card has trample. It is awesome. And that's actually the reason I didn't have to put
Rancor.
Oh, yeah. I didn't
Rancor is like our go-to trample giver.
Yeah, it is. So next we have tokens for me, and now there's tokens for you. So there's only 2 that only give tokens to you in this deck. But we're going to go over them really quick. This is a short category. We have... This is one of my favorite adds to the whole deck.
This is pretty sweet.
This is awesome. Clackbridge Troll.
You may have heard of it.
It's an 8/8 with trample and haste. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent gets 3/0/1 goat tokens.
Yeah, you give them to the person that can use them the least, obviously.
Yes. And then at the beginning of now this thing has haste. That's what's so awesome. At the beginning of each combat, any opponent can sacrifice a creature. If they do, you tap it and you draw a card and gain 3 life.
I don't think they're ever going to do that because this is kind of just a beater. Like, when you're at 20 and it's 1v1, you have to sacrifice the goats. But in Commander, you probably don't. But you get to beat for 8. 8
is a lot. Take into consideration, that is 1/5 of your life.
Well, yeah, this deck plays, I don't know if we're getting into it later, but it plays Illness in the Ranks and Virulent Plague, which just destroy all tokens always. Just static kill all tokens effect.
We will get into those later.
Right, but I'm saying when you have those out, oops, you don't get anything. And Grismold gets 3 counters.
Yeah. Clackbridge Troll, so sweet in this deck. And I legitimately do think people are going to sack more than you think. I think
people are going to sack? Oh, people are going to do it?
I think because it's an 8/8,
I'm just saying hard. I think they'll do it like 1 in 10 times.
I don't know. I think they do it 1 in 3 times. It hits so hard.
Averaging out, your opponents will do this 1 in 6 times.
Can you take a hit from this thing twice? You don't want to. That's 16 damage.
I just don't know how long it's going to stay around.
How long is it going to stay around?
Maybe, I don't know. Well, we have to assume it does stay around because I can't just say dies to removal.
I mean, yeah. I think this thing is sweet. Next one.
Also a troll. Hunted Troll is 4 mana for a 7/4 and
Nope,
it can regenerate.
8/4.
4 mana for an 8/4 and it can regenerate. And when it enters the battlefield, target opponent makes 4 fairies with flying.
Yep.
We don't care about that at all. Those are not going to hit hard. This thing survives board wipes, and it makes a bunch of stuff for Grismold to, hey, look at and go, that's dead now.
Yeah, I love that this thing lives through board wipes. I love that this card's sweet in this deck because also it's another beater for 8. This one's more easily blocked because it doesn't have trample or anything.
But it's more easily not dieable.
More not dieable. Yes, you're right. It is not dieable. Thanks.
More easily not dieable.
Okay, so now let's give tokens for us. We want everybody to get tokens. We don't.
Oh, we're just kind of like throwing them out.
We get,
like, you take some. You take some.
You can
I
have some
want 'em.
tokens. I can have some tokens. So we'll start with Grismold. Obviously, our commander.
You've heard of him. The commander of the deck.
Yeah, obviously Grismold is here. You're always going to give tokens to everyone because
Every end step, every one of your end steps, well, each end step would be insane, but each of your end steps, there's 4 tokens that are created and put onto the battlefield that you can find ways to kill.
do you know what this next card does?
A Crowan Horse, yeah, of course. It's a 4 mana 0/4, enters under opponent's control, and then it says at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent makes a 1/1 soldier. Oh, each opponent. It's just another Grismold.
It's so good. Somebody gets a useless horse, and then you're just giving out tokens to everybody.
Yeah, just give it to the person who can't sacrifice the horse.
It's so good. It's
That's flavorful. It's sweet. It goes right with the deck, and this is probably my favorite card coming up after this.
By the way,
falling in love.
the next card that I put in this deck, I put in for you.
You put in for me? Oh,
I saw it and I'm like,
shouldn't have.
that's pretty good. And I'm like, Papiz, you'll love it. So
I
definitely
certainly
took it.
will. It's Farika, God of Affliction. She's 1 black-green for a 5/5 indestructible legendary enchantment creature god. Devotion text. Blech. And her real ability is pay green-black, and then you exile a creature card from a graveyard, and its controller, like the owner of the card that got exiled, controller makes a 1/1 green snake enchantment with Death Touch.
Yes, exactly. So we can give anybody snakes. This doubles as graveyard hate, and we don't care who gets snakes because we want.
Literally don't care at all. And you can even do weird stuff like someone's being attacked by an 8/8, and you would like the 8/8 to die, but you're not involved in this combat. We'll just give the defender a Death Touch snake. Oops. You just get to kill a creature for free, eat a card out of their graveyard, and now they're like friends with you.
Yeah, that's
So political.
Yeah, this card can be extremely political, and also you don't care because guess what?
Yeah.
You got Grismold. If a token dies on the other side,
You get benefit.
whoop, straight up benefit.
Right, you just get stuff for that.
Next is this one's cool. This deck is so cool.
This card is really good in this deck. This might be one of the best cards.
There's so many cool cards in this. Next one is Rampage of the Clans. It's 3 and a green for an instant. Destroy all artifacts and all enchantments. Each artifact or enchantment controller gets a 3/3.
You know, I was looking at this card and I'm like, it's never just destroy all artifacts and enchantments with upside. Oh, but in this deck it is. It's Bane of Progress for 4 mana, but it does a bunch of stuff that you want to do.
You're putting tokens out into the field. You're just Grismold's going to keep growing. If one token is off the battlefield, Grismold now blocks those 3/3s.
Right. Also, the 3/3s, just like the plants that Grismold makes, if they're attacking and the 3/3s are attacking, they're just running into each other because everybody has them. It's like when you play Awaken the Erstwhile and everybody's hand goes away. Well, the zombies aren't going to stay. They're just going to run into each other and all die.
Yeah, exactly.
That Grismold goes, oh, thanks guys. I want to be huge now. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I am absolutely. I fell in love with this deck when I was making it. When we first got it, I was like, Grismold. That seems kind of boring. And I started making this deck. I'm like, wow, everything in this deck is cool because you make this deck synergistic. You don't just go for the stupid staples thing, and you just have an awesome deck here.
Right, you get to play really sweet stuff like Sylvan Offering, X and a green for a sorcery. You and target player each make an XX Tree Folk, and then you and that another target player or the same target player make X 1/1 Elf Warrior tokens. So if you play X as 5, you and an opponent are getting 5/5s. Now you and another opponent of your choice, could be the same one, get 5 1/1s. You get 6 tokens. You make 6 tokens on the board somewhere else, and then Grismold's like, I can't wait until those die.
Yeah, whatever you put in to it, you get. Oh no, yeah, whatever you put into it, you get double the number of tokens on the field.
Yeah. So if X is 2, you get 4 tokens.
No, if
X is 2, you get 6 tokens.
Yeah, whatever you put into it.
Triple.
So you spent 3 mana.
Oh, 3 mana gets 6. 4 mana gets. Gotcha.
Yeah, it works exactly like. It just happened to work out that you also get the X does the number. Yeah, whatever. Math. It does math. Again, all these things are going to be so good for you because Grismold wants them to die.
It's great. And if we can, we'll save it till later.
There's so much more to this deck.
There's so much more. You think there's only one layer? You think we're just making tokens and killing them? What's next?
Primal Vigor. This is great. This is 4 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever any token would be created, 2 are created instead for anybody. And whenever +1/+1 counter would be put on something, 2 are created.
This is like the best card. This has got to be the Gourmet Bagel, the best card in the deck.
Oh, it is so good.
The downsides on this card, and all these cards that we just mentioned, are upsides.
Yeah.
Every card we just mentioned has a ton of downside, unless it's in this deck.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing.
The downside of Primal Vigor is that works for your opponent.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to give my opponents Death Touch Snakes. Oh, I don't want to give my opponent this and then have other players make 1/1s. Oh, wait, I do.
Yeah, we just wanted to do all these things. Oh,
that's so good.
Everything feels so good in this.
Grismold gets double counters. So 6 tokens down, he just gets like 12 counters because they're all individual triggers. Oh, man. That's so nasty.
It is so awesome. Next, Seed the Land. This is 4 mana for an enchantment.
I couldn't tell you what this does.
Whenever a land comes into play, a player gets a 1/1. I think it might be a sapling.
The controller of the land?
The controller of the land.
Oh, baby.
So whenever a land comes into play, anybody gets a 1/1.
We're just we're like padding the board. It's like, oh, this board is so clogged. It's like, yeah, I just played like 2 spells.
Yeah.
Now you guys are going to have the board clogged.
Oh, now talk about a card I have to look up what it says because I do not know what this card says.
Oh, you're thinking about Infernal Genesis?
Ooh.
Do it.
At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. Then they create X 1/1 black minion creature tokens, where X is that creature's converted mana cost.
The X is the card's converted mana cost.
Oh, I don't know. I said creature. Yeah.
So if they mill a land, nothing happens. But if you get 4 shots at it, and if you hit any creature at all, or any card with a cost, you're already happy.
It's so cool.
Like if this just said everyone makes a 1/1 at their upkeep, that'd be great. But it's way better than that. You probably get 6 or 7.
If you hit a 6 mana spell, it's like holy crap.
One thing you're gonna get 6 or 7 minimum, like across the table.
Yeah, and
this card is definitely worth 6 mana for sure in this deck.
It happens for you too.
Yeah, even you get them. You could just make a bunch of tokens and attack.
Ugh. I mean, yeah, this deck can potentially go wide. Another boring finisher that I didn't put in the deck is Kratos. It's not even that unreasonable to put in the deck.
No, because I mean everyone's gonna have tokens, but if everybody has 12 tokens and then you go, hey, here's 144 extra power. I don't think that's going to matter that they have 12 tokens. I think they're dead.
Because it's not going to matter that they have extra tokens.
Yeah.
What's the last one?
It's Genesis Chamber. It's a 2-mana artifact. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it's non-token, the creature's owner makes a 1/1 mirror token. That's all the time. Things are going to happen. And we got these static artifact and enchantment ways to make tokens so that even if the board gets swiped, we don't care.
Exactly. It's so great. Ooh, so now that there's tokens everywhere.
We got to get them dead. There's like the board is scattered. The tokens are scampering all over and we're crowded. We got to control the pest situation.
So we'll start on our side. We're going to get rid of our guys. So we're going to start with the best one. This is one of the best ways to get rid of
It's one of the best cards ever printed. I don't know. It's Skull Clamp. You know what Skull Clamp does? It's busted. We make 1/1s all the time. Cash them in for cards and you're going to go ham.
And Grismold also gets a counter. It's insane. It's strong. Do we need to tell you why Skull Clamp's good? Because I don't think
we just did.
Then we have here's some friendly sack outlets for tokens. We have Viscerous here.
Boring.
We have Woe
boring but classic.
Boring but classic. Woe Strider, which is another Viscerous here for 3 mana, but also when it comes in, you get a goat token.
It's way less boring. It also has escape. So if you really have nothing better to do, cash in some of those extra lands or whatever in the graveyard, instants and sorceries, even maybe creatures if you need to, and just get a 5/4 and another token.
Ooh, what's this next sack outlet do? You like this one?
Oh, Spawning Pit? Spawning Pit has been real good for me when I played it. It was like the MVP of the one game. It's 2 mana for an artifact. You sack a creature to put a counter on it, and then you can remove 2 counters from it and pay 1 mana to make a 2/2 pest token or a 2/2, just like a generic token.
Yeah, but you get to sack 2 tokens to make 1 token for 1 mana? That is awesome.
It's a free sack outlet, and the charge counters stay, so you can just go, all right, board wipe, that's cool, sack my team, get 10 counters on it, and 10 counters are just there. So you can go, all right, do something, rebuild, pass. On the end of your turn, I'm going to make 5 more guys.
Another card that's a free sack outlet that synergizes so well with this deck.
So well.
Yahani, Undying Partisan. It's a 2/2 with haste. You can sacrifice a creature you control. She gains indestructible. But also, if a creature an opponent controls dies, it gets a +1/+1 counter.
What a happy coincidence. We're going to be doing that a lot.
It turns out our opponent's creatures are going to be dying a lot.
This is basically Grismold number 2.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Right? How close is this to another Grismold?
Yeah, it doesn't have. It's great that it's a sack outlet too, because we want lots of sack outlets. It's just getting huge. It doesn't have a lot of evasion, but we don't care.
I mean, it has evasion when they're playing a board wipe. It just doesn't die.
That's true. Yeah, and it just gets big.
And the last sack outlet is Yawgmoth, Grand Physician. He's a 4-mana 2/4 with pro-humans. Whoa. Sacrifice a creature, though. You get to put a -1/-1 counter on up to one creature, and you lose a life, and you draw a card. And you can pay black, and discard a card to proliferate. He's basically best friends forever with the Liliana Dreadhorde General. Play Lily, play Yawgmoth, and then next turn you just win. Because you just go, discard my hand, ultimate, you lose.
Yeah, that's one way to go. He also sacrifices one of your plant tokens and kills a plant token.
And then draws a card. And then Grismold gets 2 beef counters.
Beef counter. That's what he gets.
He gets 2 beef
Because Grismold gets beef counters. They give him beef.
He looks like he's got weird meat on him.
Now, these next two have similar names, and they do similar things.
Yeah, we had 2 Genesises. We had 2 Trolls next to each other. Now we have 2 Massacres next to each other.
So
Can the fans guess what they are?
What's the
You have
first?
3 seconds.
What's the first Massacre? Tell them.
Okay, it's been 3 seconds. It's Massacre Girl. She's a 5-mana 4/4 with Menace, and when she enters the battlefield, all creatures get -1/-1 till end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, there's a trigger to give all creatures -1/-1 again. And it's other creatures. So Massacre Girl, usually the only one that survives, but something weird that happens with Grismold triggering to get bigger whenever a token dies. And then whenever a token dies, everything else gets smaller. Grismold kind of just stays the same and might not die.
Yeah, you got to avoid. Do be careful because obviously Grismold can die this if you're not careful.
Right, but if, let's say each opponent has like 4 1/1 tokens and you have 4 1/1 tokens and you have a sack outlet, we'll sack them all first, then Grismold gets bigger, and then now everything's dead. Grismold's going to get 12 counters and 12 minuses, so he's going to stay around 6 wherever he was.
Yeah, exactly. The next one is Massacre Worm.
Oh.
And this is 3 black for a 6/6 when it enters the battlefield. All creatures get -2/-2.
Mm-hmm.
But what's awesome is whenever a creature dies, see what happens? The controller of whenever a creature
An opponent controls.
dies, they lose 2 life.
Right, and it doesn't give our guys -2/-2. It just gives their guys -2/-2.
Oh my god,
Our tokens are fine. Theirs are dead.
they're all dead. Our guy gets 1,000,000 counters.
This could just be a way to win the game. If you make enough, or at the end of the turn you go crazy, this could just win.
No, yeah, you're killing so many things. They're losing so much life. Plus, that effect of losing life stays on the card. So if more tokens keep dying,
It's a static. Yeah, it's like a blood artist.
they're like if you go to end step and you have something like I don't know, let's skip down to the bottom here. Illness in the Ranks, which is 1 black, all token creatures get -1/-1, or Verdant Plague
All tokens get -2/-2.
for 3 mana. If you have either one of those out, you go to the end step and everyone loses 2 more life, and Grismold gets 2 more counters.
Yeah, illness and plague say, well, you can't go wide, but you don't need a sack outlet if you want to go tall. Because Grismold just becomes huge whenever anything would happen.
Yeah, you play Grismold, go to the end step, he's a 6/6.
Yeah.
And also, there's die triggers around the board, which is
he'd
good.
be a 7/7.
Jeez, yeah, you're right. He would be a 7/7.
Yeah.
So you play a 3-mana 7/7 that has
With
that has die triggers,
Yeah.
which you are glad to accept. And
One last thing. If we combined Massacre Girl and Massacre Worm, it'd be like this giant Phyrexian worm that shoots confetti.
Boo!
Like that noise.
I assume they named Massacre Girl after Massacre Worm. That makes sense.
She was just a character.
Yeah,
She's like a superhero, but she kills people.
but the massacre,
Massacre Girl.
but the word massacre, like it implies, like they're using the same word.
The word massacre implies -X. That's from an old card.
Oh.
There's a card called Massacre. I think it does something like that.
Okay. This next one is also one of your favorite cards.
It is, but that's more of a janky modern sideboard card. It's Golgari Charm. Black-green. For an instant, you choose one of the 3 modes. You regenerate each creature you control. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn, or you destroy target enchantment. I don't even know which one of those is the best one because they're all so useful.
They're also useful. Wow, we can kill all the 1/1 tokens, which is already awesome.
Save our team.
Saving our team. Protecting Grismold is tough. I took some of like the jankier ones out for protecting him
We'll
because
get to that later.
we will. But I took some of the more janky ones out because this protection spell is awesome because it's so versatile.
There's a propaganda that my opponent shouldn't be playing and I can't get through. Pff, kill it.
Yeah. This next card is so great too. Decree of Pain. This deck
The
is
next card's even cooler.
I know.
I'm gonna freak out again.
yeah.
Anyway, Decree of Pain, what does it do?
6 black for a board wipe. It's a sorcery. When you cast it, destroy all creatures and draw a card for each creature destroyed. That's already insane because you're making 1/1s for everybody and then drawing off.
Probably draw 20, 25.
Easily. And it also has cycling for 3 black and all creatures get -2/-2. That's like kill all the tokens.
That's just going to wipe the slate clean of all tokens. Grismold gets a tiny little slap on the wrist, and then he's a 20/20 and you kill somebody.
Ugh. This deck can do so many cool things.
Just keep Grismold out. Protect Grismold.
We have a couple ways to protect him. We'll talk about them later. So the last card in this category,
And the coolest.
is Azuri's Predation. 5 green, green, green for a sorcery. For each creature an opponent controls, create a 4/4 beast. For each of those tokens they fight, each one fights a different one of those creatures.
If there's 20 creatures you don't control, which is very plausible because we're making most of them, you get 20 beasts. They're fighting, and you get at least 20 death triggers because some of them might trade with the beast, which is even better. Grismold, that's a one-shot. Then he doesn't even have anything in his way because you just killed it all.
This card, absolutely insane. Plus, you're getting tokens. You're getting tokens.
Tokens.
All these things on top of like doing all like it's like, oh, this is a board wipe that will pump your guy a ton. And also you have a ton of tokens with it.
We talked about way back in some other video, we talked about doubling season in this. We have Primal Vigor, so we can make double the beasts, and half the beasts just kind of sit there.
Yeah, half the beasts don't fight. They don't fight. Yeah, we have learned that.
So it's just great for you. You just extra beasts. But on the off chance, like I said, you can't protect poor old Grismold. We got bonuses for tokens dying. Other tokens. Other non-Grismold bonuses for things dying, which will happen all the time.
Yes. So these all kind of go together here. We have Blood Artist. So whenever any creature dies, this is one of the target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's great because it's whenever any creature dies.
The best one probably is Poison Tip Archer.
Yep.
It says, it's a 4-mana 2/3. Whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. So if 5 creatures die, that's 15 damage.
Yeah. Slimefoot, we talked about him earlier, but whenever a sapling...
It's just saplings.
Yeah, whenever a sapling you control dies, opponent loses 1.
Yeah, and you gain 1. And Zulapur Cutthroat is the Poison Tip Archer side, where if something you control dies, Poison Tip Archer is any, but this is if something you control dies, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. They're all so close, but so different.
They're all draining your opponents out when something dies.
What about Sir Conrad? Was that in the original deck? Something they could consider?
You can consider Sir Conrad. I ended up not including. I had him on my original ads list.
Really?
And this deck felt really tight. Like there's so many ads and cuts.
He's the most expensive 1 mana wise, so maybe you just go for cheap and efficient.
That is why I did. I did make the deck a little too clunky at first. I'm like, well, I went really.
I had to revise it.
So I went down on like some of the heavier things.
Okay, well, Black Market we already mentioned, but it gets counters, and then the counters are when creatures die. So the creatures die, put counters on it, then that translates into mana. Just lets you go crazy.
It gives you a lot of mana. In this deck, I'm not a big fan of Black Market overall, but in a deck where there's going to be creatures dying all the time, and you could potentially just get like 6 the first turn it comes out. It's like, now that's insane.
Yeah, that at that point it gets like, okay, I'll play Black Market. My hands are tied.
Dictate of Erebos, Grave Pact. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature.
These are just board wipes in this deck. Your guys are going to be attacking, trading off, blocking, fighting, sacrificed. Any number of poor things happening to these poor tokens.
Even if you're trading tokens for tokens, you don't care because Grismold is growing or all your other things are triggered.
Yeah, if one of your tokens dies and everybody else just sacrifices a token, great. That's the whole reason. That's the whole thing we're trying to do. Your opponents are going to be like, "Oh, you idiot! You just gave me a token. It made me sacrifice." It's like, no, that's the point. Take 20. Shut up. Get out of my game.
So we couldn't include the classic creature draw ones.
Like Beast Whisperer, and Lifecrafter's Bestiary, those?
No, I was talking about the creature dying ones.
Oh, Horsepex and Midnight Reaper?
Yeah, they don't count tokens. Neither of them do.
Don't.
So we have to exclude them, but we can play Dark Prophecy, which is black, black, black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you lose 1 life and draw a card. Counts tokens. And also Molder Vines, which is 3 green, black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain a life and draw a card.
So if you have both of these, they cancel out and you just draw 2 cards.
Yeah. So Dark Reclamation is
Moldavine Prophecy.
That sounds like a better card.
Yeah, that does sound better.
Dark Reclamation does not sound very
No,
good.
it does not. One new card you could consider from Ikoria, hasn't come out yet, is Species Specialist. I think it's from C20. It's like a 4-mana 2/3 or something. And then you choose a creature type. And then whenever a creature of the chosen type dies, you draw a card. It doesn't have to be yours.
Oh, that's super
So you can
cool.
go, oh, what did I just give out? Snakes, plants, saplings? Like, okay, I'll choose that. And now I'm going to draw a bunch of cards off it.
I must admit, I missed that when building this deck.
Well, it's from C20. So let's just pretend like this video was recorded in January. So we could never have known about the card I just read word for word.
All right, so now we're moving on. We're in winning the game category. The simplest way with this deck is you're going to one-shot with Grismold.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Especially to the guy who's like, you made me sacrifice creature, but you gave me a token. Hit that guy first.
Your deck doesn't work right.
You don't understand this. You don't understand Grismold.
I'll type for 32, but I only have 11 toughness.
Die.
You're dead. That's the main way. The other way is this sweet infinite combo. We have Grismold.
Okay.
Animation Module, which is a 1-mana artifact that says whenever a +1/+1 counter is put on a creature you control, you can pay 1 to get a 1/1 servo token.
I can see where this is going. Grismold gets +1/+1 counters, and that's a token.
Yeah, and it has something else I don't care about. You can pay 3 to put a
Oh, you proliferate one thing.
Yeah, proliferate one thing, yeah. But then you have Ashnod's Altar or Phyrexian Altar. So you have either of these altars, they make mana.
They sacrifice creatures to make mana.
So you sacrifice a token, make
You
a
just
mana.
made, yeah.
You make a mana,
Uh-huh.
you trigger Grismold, he gets a counter. Triggers animation module, and you pay the 1 that you got from your stack outlet to make a new token. Rinse and repeat till Grismold is an infinite.
Infinite animation modulation.
So if you have Phyrexian Altar, you get infinite colorless mana, which we don't really have too many ways to pay off. If you have Phyrexian Altar, you don't get any extra mana, but
You just get you have to settle for your infinite troll thug looking flower hat guy.
you also have infinite death triggers. So with all these infinite death triggers,
Any of the ones we just mentioned.
yeah, Zulaport, Cutthroat, Slime. No, Slimefoot doesn't work. But
No.
the other 3, Zulaport, Cutthroat, Blood Artist, and
Poison Tip.
all kill your opponents.
Absolutely. The next one is Revel in Riches. It's 4 and a black for an enchantment. If you control 10 or more treasures on your end step, you win the game. And whenever a creature dies, you make a treasure.
Yeah. So there's not too much to say here in winning the game.
This is kind of like Felidar Sovereign. I might just win. And if not, it's actually better than Felidar Sovereign because you just get a bunch of mana.
Yeah, exactly. Like what I was saying is there's not much to talk about here in winning the game. There's one really cool combo which we talked about,
Like a critical mass.
It's all about this deck's about one-shotting, and this deck is all about synergies. So we're gonna talk about the adds and cuts now. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the lands. 7 basics. I cut right out. There was like 20 basics. I'm like, that's too many.
Not anymore.
So yeah, not anymore. So we went up to so we put in Nurturing Peatland, Tainted Wood, Shizo's Death House.
That's how you get Grismold in for very little effort. Your land gives him fear. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Bajuka Bog, which I think goes in almost every black deck. Phyrexian Tower, another set outlet, and
I think goes in almost every black deck.
Yep, and another way to actually in our lands, a way to protect our commander.
Oh, Yavimaya Hollow, I just pay green, regenerate target creature.
Yeah, it's a colorless land, but you can regenerate target creature. This deck wants to protect Grismold. And speaking of protecting Grismold, I took out 2 things that didn't do it the right way. I didn't feel Kaya's Ghost Form, which is like when
It just throws an Undying Shield on something.
Yeah, not a fan of it. And Whisper Soul Cloak, which gives something Shroud and unblockable.
We threw an Aspect of Mongoose, 1 and a green for an enchantment. Enchanted creature has Shroud, but if the enchantment dies, it goes back to your hand.
That's awesome here because Griswold's gonna die sometimes.
We never plan on targeting him.
Even through that, so we're just gonna put this back on him. Yeah. He has Shroud. That's awesome. And the Golgari Charm we talked about earlier can regenerate all of our creatures.
Absolutely. In terms of removal, we trimmed Death Sprout, which I love. Spark Harvest, which I don't love, and Putrefy, which I love the art of, but it's so outclassed by things like Assassin's Trophy, destroy a permanent, then they get a land. It's the path to exile for permanents. Windgrace's Judgment, non-land permanent blow up for each opponent, and Nature's Claim, my favorite spot removal spell. It's just 1 green, not 1 green. Let's 1 green mana instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Its controller gains 4 life.
Yeah, I feel like that was just like. This is because we weren't working with a budget. Those removal spells were fine, but if you're not working with too much of a budget, Assassin's Trophy, Windgrace's Judgment, Nature's Claim, all just awesome.
If you don't want to pick up Assassin's Trophy, because I think it is a little pricey, just keep in Death Sprout.
Yeah, I mean, that was more of a you guys don't really have a budget, so it's like I'm willing to put in pretty much anything under $30 and not feel bad.
Yeah, that's fair. Talisman of Resistance is an artifact. We don't need it, so we put in Sky Shroud Claim, Elvish Mystic, Elves Deep Shadow, and Sakura Tribe Elder for more permanent-based ramp.
Yes. I originally had more elves, but I couldn't find room for them. If you want to, this deck wants elves because you want to be able to sacrifice them. You want to.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get swept up in shenanigans, but maybe you still want them.
Yeah, I like to ramp early. I really like playing a turn 1 elf and playing turn 2 commander.
Maybe Jiraga Tree Speaker would be good because it can get up to 4 toughness really fast.
Yeah, that's true. What I was saying was I really like playing turn 2 commander in this deck because you get your game plan accelerated.
Yeah.
Also, you can put in more of these. Birds of Paradise I also put in.
I guess the real thing so if this was a CDH deck, I'd play Chrome Mox and Mox Diamond. That's how you get turn 2 Grismold without having things get swept up in board wipes. But I mean, they're Moxing. You get it.
I probably should have put in the
Chrome,
but obviously Mox Diamond is like
$220.
Yeah, absolutely stupid. And
on the reserve list.
Two little final ads here. Oh, no, wait. I traded out Road to Ruin for Eternal Witness because
Road of Return.
Road of Return. I don't feel like a commander is ever going to get to a price where we care to have to put him in our hand.
We're a green deck. I think we're okay.
Yeah, we're gonna. I also agree.
If this is an issue for you, you know what? If this is an issue for you and you don't want to get Assassin's Trophy, make that switch. Play Eternal Witness and Road of Return.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong. I don't think Road of Return's a bad card. I want Eternal Witness here. I don't want to play Regrowth and put my commander in my hand.
Right. I mean, you could just put Griswold in the graveyard one time and then we witness it back anyway. That's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That actually is like the exact same thing. To final ads, I mentioned Winding Constrictor earlier.
I like this card too. Idol of Oblivion. It's a 2-mana artifact. You tap it to draw a card, but only if you need a token this turn. That's every turn. And then you can pay 8 and sack it and make a 10/10 Eldrazi.
This card is so cool and awesome in the deck.
The 10/10 is whatever. I don't know if I've ever done that. But it's a nice safety valve. It's another, like, I'd rather have it be there than not on my Phyrexian Arena that doesn't cost life or extra mana.
Yeah. So that's the deck. This deck is super awesome. I went super into detail about this deck because I felt like
that was really sweet. Matthew, this is a cool deck.
I spent, you better be happy, Matthew. I spent so much time on it this morning. I was so happy. I was just like going into it. I'm like, this deck is so cool.
Azar's Predation, Decree of Pain.
It took me so long to cut cards because I put like your deck was already pretty solid coming in. And like, I didn't want to go crazy and cut like 50 cards. I'm like, well, I don't want to cut his deck down to nothing because his deck has a lot of cool stuff. And I'm like, oh, but then I got to cut some of my cuts. And I did have to cut. I was trying, the CMC rose a little bit, but that was because of two of my favorite cards, the Azura's Predation and Decree. That's really
8 mana bombs, but Decree is 5 mana and the secret mode is 8 mana.
Yeah, I took out Terastodon from that you had in the deck because
it makes tokens.
You had a couple ways to reanimate too. I was like, well, this deck doesn't feel like a reanimated deck. Get the Terastodon out, get the 2 reanimate things out.
Sure.
Yeah. Deck is solid now.
Deck is gas. Griswold's gonna get huge. You can make all the Clark Griswold references you want, which might be 0. And that might be the correct amount.
That might be a great altar. Just exactly what Grismold looks like, but just give him
Chevy Chase's
face. Give him the new.
No, give him the old wrinkly Chevy Chase because he'll fit right in.
Give him the fat Chevy Chase.
Isn't he fat now?
Yeah.
There you go. We said the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Something about that makes me think about gravy.
Oh, yeah, because if
Chevy Chase altar is just gravy.
Yeah.
there it is. This is Phil, by the way.
This is Phil, our gravy boat, and he can stay right here. So this is the end of the video. Special shout outs to all of our patrons. You guys are awesome. You guys support the channel. You keep this channel going. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable.
You're the lifeblood of the Nitpicking Nerds. Also, there's other ways you can support us if you don't feel like being a patron. Not everybody has to do that. Obviously, not everybody's doing that because we have 5,000 subscribers and not 5,000 patrons. So you can go to buymeacoffee.com and tip us a couple dollars. Just say, hey, that was cool and I want you to know about it. And then we'll say, oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. You helping the channel. And then you can also buy cards for yourself without spending any extra money on TCG Player. But you just got to use the link in our description so the TCG Player knows that we sent you and they can give us a little bit of kickback.
Yeah. Links to all 3 of those things just mentioned of how to support us are in the description below.
Not even required. If you want to do it for free and you want to do like the easiest thing ever, I would say just like subscribe and share it with somebody, or maybe just retweet us on Twitter, or not, maybe share a video on Twitter just because that's such a good way for us to like get out there and then we can get a bigger and better things going faster.
We're not good at Twitter.
We're so bad at Twitter. I'll say we're good at YouTube, but Twitter is like a whole nother language.
Yeah.
I don't speak it.
I don't speak the tweets. Timid about our life.
Whew. Oh boy. What about you?
That's about what I got.
I worked today.
I didn't work today.
Joe's thinking about getting extra hours at his job. I don't know. We didn't prepare anything. We never do.
We never do. Tidbits just come off the top of our head.
A lot of these videos are unscripted.
This completely unscripted?
Some of it.
I don't think we've ever had a completely unscripted
No, I'm saying a lot of the video,
like
a lot of what they think might be scripted is just not. We're just that clever.
Yeah.
That's our tidbit. We accidentally came up with a tidbit. A lot of this isn't scripted.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. Like basically on screen, we don't say what we want to talk about the cards. We just say what the cards are. And we're like, this is this card and this is what we like about it.
Every joke, we don't script jokes. We actually, I don't think we've ever scripted a joke really. Like we scripted a disclaimer, but that's about it.
In the opening is scripted.
Well, 75% of the time we end up saying what's on script.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes we don't.
Sometimes we just add something extra, or
whatever. We're the funniest people in the whole world, and if you're not subscribed, you're a loser.
Boom. Peace out, Tribe Scout.